All right, y'all, we are back with another video, and we got some breaking news, some huge news for President Donald J. Trump. Shout out to the Supreme Court. Like I said, I'm not going to hold y'all up. We definitely going to get straight into this video. And this right here is all over Twitter, saying breaking: the Supreme Court ruled that President Trump has absolutely immunity from federal election interference charges brought forward by rogue prosecutor Jack Smith. A huge win for President Trump and our country. Thank you, SCOTUS. This is breaking news. We definitely finna go ahead and dive straight into this, because we see what Jack Smith and all these people are trying to do to Donald Trump, because Joe Biden cannot beat Donald Trump fair and square. So they've been trying to take this other route, or just trying to put this man in jail with some dumb, bogus charges. And it's just crazy. So like I said, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with everything going on. And I would recommend everybody please watch this entire video, because towards the end of the video, you're going to hear something very, very amazing that's going to work in Donald Trump's favor. So I don't want anybody missing out on this news. This is huge news. So please watch the entire video. And like I said, shout out to everybody who always watches the entire video. I really, really appreciate it. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight into this, man. This is monumental, y'all. Let's go.
We're going to get out of that commercial break because we have word that the Supreme Court has issued a ruling on the extent of presidential immunity from criminal prosecution for conduct alleged to involve official acts during the tenure of President Trump. This is the big one we've been waiting for. It's consequential. It's really interesting that the Supreme Court, in 248 years of our history, has never actually ruled on this. So it is big and sweeping, and I have our political panel looking over this right now. Andy McCarthy, Chief Justice John Roberts has the writing on this. He's got the pen. Is that significant?
It's very significant. It's the most important case of the term in terms of the long-term interests of the executive branch, in terms of the short-term interests of Donald Trump. And it looks like, at least within the bounds of clear executive authority, what Chief Justice Roberts is saying is that the president clearly has immunity from prosecution. So the question is going to be, again, I think Trey underscored this before, is what is an official act? There's going to be a lot of litigation about that, and what's close to the core of clear executive constitutional authority versus the outer ambit of it.
The wins just keep coming. They finally did it, gang. The Supreme Court has ruled that President Trump does indeed have wide-ranging presidential immunity. We've got the latest, and of course, what it all means for the future of Democrat lawfare against the soon-to-be number 47. Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here to help you stay sane in these insane times. So make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Also, you all know that with Biden at the helm, government overreach is at an all-time high. The agencies that we used to put our trust in are now turning against us. Even in a stunning 6-3 decision, the Supreme Court has just ruled that presidents are indeed immune from criminal prosecution for official acts as President of the United States. According to the majority opinion written by Chief Justice John Roberts, quote, at least with respect to the president's exercise of his core constitutional powers, this immunity must be absolute. Now, as expected, the Supremes ruled that there is no immunity for the presidential's unofficial acts, so there appears to be some ambiguity here. The court has instructed the lower trial courts to hold specific evidentiary trials on each criminal count against Trump to determine which counts, if any, apply to non-immune acts. So again, at the very least, every single one of Trump's cases are going to have to now go through a review, and they may indeed end up imploding as a result. Here's my namesake, Jonathan Turley, on the legal implications of this stunning decision.
In reading through this opinion, I can't see how this doesn't induce cardiac arrest with the special counsel. At one point in the opinion, they say, look, this is a quote, the indictment's allegations that Trump attempted to pressure the vice president to take particular acts in connection with his role with the certification proceeding thus involve official conduct. and Trump is at least presumptively immune from prosecution for such conduct. The court then goes on to say that the burden, of course, is on Jack Smith. He has to show that this does not pose any intrusions into the executive branch. And the court says that that this, quote, may well hinder the president's ability to perform his constitutional functions. So here the court is imposing a very significant burden on Jack Smith when this goes back to the judge. We talked about how this trial judge has proven to be very favorable towards Jack Smith. She's certainly been motivated to try to get a trial before the election. But the court here is giving much more clear lines than some people expected. They're saying that there is a presumption here that you have to deal with. The burden is high, and the court indicates that it may view this as something that could hinder a president's authority.
Translation, Jack Smith's J6 case against Trump is toast.
Yep.
Whatever Trump did regarding the vote certification process in Congress on January 6th was fully in the context of his official duties as president. So it looks like the J6 case has exploded in Jack Smith's face. And almost certainly the Fulton County case, the Big Fannie Willis case, is done based on the same parameters. We'll have to see what happens with the other cases here. President Trump could not contain himself. He was so excited. He just posted on Truth Social, quote, "Big win for our Constitution and democracy. Proud to be an American."
Yes.
Now, this is actually the second huge ruling in a row coming from the Supreme Court. I don't know how many of you caught the ruling a few days back regarding.
Now, the thing is that, like I said, this is an absolute win for Donald Trump. You see that he's excited about it because we see the crap that's going on. We see the crap that this crazy delusional Jack Smith is trying to do. Remember how he was threatening Judge Aileen Cannon to try to hurry up and bring this to trial? Because, see, they trying to get everything did before the election. And Trump is just getting win after win after win, and that's exactly what we want, because we know that they going after this man because Joe Biden cannot beat him. And Donald Trump said that in the debate. You can't beat me. That's why you sending all your thugs after me. That's why they doing this to me. So, like I said, shout out to the Supreme Court for doing this, man, giving Trump immunity. We shall see how the rest of it is going to break down, but this is a good start. I can't say this. This is a good start, though. So let's keep it going.
Regarding what's called the Chevron deference rule, that was gigantic. Now, if you don't know what the Chevron decision is, back in 1984, it's what's called the Chevron versus Natural Resources Defense Council case. The Supreme Court ruled that courts basically had to give deference to federal agencies as the experts when it comes to creating regulations based on an ambiguous law. So what that means is that Congress routinely enacts open-ended laws, like, say, some vague environmental law, right? And then what they have to do is they give huge latitude to regulative agencies to work out the details. And they can continue to change and adjust those details as time goes on. So this is why regulatory agencies have had so much power. The Supreme Court, in what's called this Chevron decision back in 1984, they gave regulatory agencies almost unlimited power in that there was no legal recourse to challenge their regulations. The Chevron decision basically made regulatory agencies the experts in their respective fields, and the courts were basically required to just defer to the regulatory agency's interpretation of the ambiguous or vague laws passed by Congress. So what this means is that over the last 40 years, federal agencies have been able to, quote, interpret laws to mean whatever they want, and the courts basically just had to go along with it. That's why the legal practice was called Chevron deference, and it put bureaucrats, unelected bureaucrats, in charge of the country. That's how OSHA, right, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, remember this? That's how OSHA was able to mandate that everyone who worked in a large company, right, with 100 employees or more, had to get vaccinated or else get fired.
Wow.
No law gave OSHA that authority. OSHA regulatory official, unelected regulatory officials just made it up. Now, of course, that mandate, that OSHA mandate, got smacked down by the Supreme Court a couple of years back. But now, as of just a few days ago, the Supreme Court actually overturned the very decision that gave OSHA that kind of deferred authority in the first place. And so now we finally have a legal recourse to push back against the federal regulatory apparatus. It was a glorious decision. And if you want to see how out of touch our ruling class is, take a look at this tweet from the ultra-leftist Harvard law professor Lawrence Tribe. Look at this.
Another thing I want to get into before I get into that right there is that I had just seen a message pop up on the phone that they saying that AOC is threatening the Supreme Court because they gave Donald Trump immunity. These people have nothing else to do in their life but worry about Donald Trump. They want to take Donald Trump down so freaking bad that now, since the Supreme Court granted Donald Trump immunity, now AOC want to threaten to file papers on the Supreme Court. Like, this is crazy. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that in the comment section, about AOC threatening the Supreme Court just because they gave Donald Trump immunity. Let me know. Let me know what y'all think about that. That right there is just wild.
The ones I feel sorry for are my administrative law colleagues who built their courses and careers around the intricacies of Chevron deference. Now make sure what you just heard, that you understand what he just said there. This law professor is lamenting over the job losses among lawyers that are going to come from the Chevron decision.
Mm-hmm.
If that doesn't show you how far removed our political class is from average law-abiding constitutional citizens, I don't know what does. And of course, this loopy, loony liberal law professor got absolutely savaged online. Liz Wheeler responded, yes, the real victims of Chevron are certainly the lawyers who help write and enforce unconstitutional technocracy.
That's why I said, man, always something going on. It always something going on, and salute to Dr. Steve Turley for keeping us up to date with a lot of it, because I didn't even know about the Chevron. I didn't even know anything about that this right here had happened, so salute to him for that.
Another responded, constitutional rule is reestablished and you feel sorry for the lawyers? My God, man. And Tom Woods, I already support the Chevron decision. You don't have to keep convincing me. So the Supreme Courts have been on a roll here. They've been dishing out some huge wins for the integrity of our constitutional republic.
Yep, they have.
Making this presidential immunity win all the more sweet. Here's your opportunity.
That's what it is, man. So salute, shout out to Dr. Steve Turley for keeping us up to date with the Chevron situation and what the Supreme Court did. And then most of all, shout out to the Supreme Court for granting Donald Trump immunity. Now the left is in full panic mode. MSNBC is probably going to have a heart attack over there because I heard that they going crazy over it. So you already know MSNBC, ABC, CNN, all of these leftist stations, you know they're going to be talking they crap because you already got AOC threatening the Supreme Court. They already doing it. So you already know Jack Smith, all these people finna get ready and try to find another loophole. We already know that's what they going to do. They going to try to find another loophole. We don't care about that. We care about what just happened. I'm glad that Donald Trump is happy. We seen his message. It's a great win for America, man, because they got to stop doing this to Donald Trump. If you're going to beat Donald Trump fair and square. Stop using the court systems. Stop using, because Joe Biden in power, he just want to try to lock up his political opponent. That's exactly what he's doing. And like I said, once again, for the last time, shout out to the Supreme Court for the ruling. Y'all let me know in the comment section what y'all think about this. Thank you all for watching, especially the ones that made it to the end. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.